Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing with the Fanhome Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord. We are on box 10 and part 87. So let's give it a little dig in the box and find 88, 87. 91 and 3 and 2 and 90. Where's 89? I think all of this was actually mastered on, so I'm just going to put back these other bits for now and we'll continue as we need them. But first up is part 87. I believe the next few packages will allow us to complete the Mastodon. So without any further ado, it is building time. This, put some screws, that, there, come on, there you come, there you come. There we have it. So bringing in our plate, we are fitting the clip with a PM screw and the screwdriver, and this, much like the last side we did, will fit in with a screw. There we go. Next is our washer, which has got walkies. There we go. Then this comes over like so and screws into place. That one, and that is part 87 done, so we can now move on to part 88. It's just part 88. Part 88. 2 packs of screws. Okay, so first up we need to fit our clip with a PM screw. And a washer which will eventually go in there. slide over here and we'll screw in with a screw. Then we can move on to part 90, which is part 4 of the front body. And all of our bits and pieces, a ton of screws. No, I'm missing part 89. Part 89 even. We're going to need part 90 in a minute anyway, so there's no harm in having that open and ready to go. Let's get this all out of the packaging. Open, tucked away. These open, so we get some PWM screws. And PWBs. And first up, we'll bring in this piece, and this will connect in here. That screws in with the PWMs. Helps if I do this correctly. One. Two. I must admit, as we rapidly approach the end of this, I am of two minds. On the one hand, I'm really excited to have this finished, to see it complete. It's not going to fit in there. Or it will do, it's just do this one for that, to see it complete and everything else. However, you know, bar the issues, and there have been some, there's no denying that, I have been enjoying this build very, very much. It's the first I've really had of this kind, so I am going to be sad to see this finished in that sense. I don't remember having this problem with the other one. Okay, that's those in. Then bring in the other side, and our triangular piece will fit on like so, with 3 screws to hold that into place. One, 2, 3. There we go. Let's get rid of the other 2 pieces. Then we can move on to part 90, which is already open. Yet some PWBs with the big heads. Yet a couple PB screws. Couple of 3 PWBs. And a whole bunch of PWMs. Those are open, and don't trash those. So first up, bring in this connector piece, and this will screw into the arm like so, and bring in our screws to screw these into place. One, 2, 3, and 4. That can go to one side for a moment. Then we need to get our shock absorber, and this goes into this part here. Fits in. It goes to one side. That comes in. This will fit on like so. So these facing upwards, and the bolt head towards the top of where the screws are. This screws in with a PB. PB screw. Then with the PWBs, this needs to get fitted. So again, these get fitted like so. Yeah. I did end up finally finding a place for this Zord to go, and I don't think it looks too bad where it's going to go either. I'll probably do a shot at the end of the series showing it off in its Megazord mode on display for those curious. This will fit on like so. That fits on like that. Then we have a cover. Come in. So we need to attach this. It just didn't look much like it in the pictures. This will, you might want a pair of pliers just to line up the shock absorber. So this is going on, and this needs to be straight essentially. Then it will fit on the top. This will come over and fit together like so. He says, hopefully. Come on. It's very tight squeeze, and then 2 PWBs. Bloody instructions. So I've mixed up the screws because this bloody instructions are so unclear. I think that they should both be the same width as they are PWBs, and just different heads. There we go, and then this one. And this one will screw in. Alpha. So I currently have the saber-toothed tiger and the pterodactyl on the display pedestal, awaiting the others to go on. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be wide enough to necessarily hold all 5 Zords individually, which is fine. I think most people would have this displayed as the Megazord rather than individually, and I think if you did have them individually, you would want them on a much larger open space compared to a smaller place for the Megazord. But yeah, it's not going to be wide enough for 5, which is fine, but I think it will look quite nice with the Megazord in display. I'm not sure how it would look or how it's going to look if you have the Megazord in the tank mode. While again I don't see that being the preferred option for many, some might want it in the tank mode as a different display option. It might just be about long enough, but I think it might end up looking a little odd. And this clips on like so. That needs to go down there. I thought I missed a bit, stayed for a second. That goes on. This comes and fits in. This is a very snug fit. It's almost like the screw holes or the peg holes are almost a fraction of a millimetre too narrow to push them in, but eventually you can line them up, and they are tight enough that you're not going to need glue or anything like that for it. Okay. Next up is part 91, which is primarily back plates. These are a nice touch, I will say that. I like those. I'm not familiar with seeing a lot of Zords with the back plates covering the assembly, so that does look quite nice. So you want that facing out, and this to come in, and this to fit in somehow. You know you want to. There it is. Ow. This is a very, very tight fit. I think that's in as far as it would go. Just turn that around. There we go. Right, with that done, this will now fit onto our plate. He says, will it? Come on. Yeah, there we go. That was a tight fitting one, but got that in the end. Then bring in this arm and connect our covers. Again, these are really, really tight. I might have to get a look at getting a little bit of oil on them just to get them lubricated and moving, so I do have concerns that eventually it's going to bend or warp the metal, so it feels quite thin. It's heavy and weighted, but it does feel quite thin. That goes on like so. Then this needs to come in somehow. That's everything finally lined up. Just took a bit of finagling to get it into position, but it's there. Then we bring in 2 of our PV screws, which will go into somewhere. And we go into 1 and 2. Yeah. Okay, so they're going in here and here. One and 2. There we go. Come back around for now. And there, I believe, is probably a good stopping point for today. Next up, we're moving back to doing the hand for the Mastodon. So I feel this is a nice stopping point. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe and may the power protect you.